You know, everybody's buttoned down like that and wants to control the world. There's something involved that's outlandish that they keep a secret. That's always been the case with secret society.
Epstein, Weinstein, like these guys knew what these extremists liked and provided it.
So, you know how Hollywood's been selling us this dream for ages? The whole anyone can make it if they've got talent and connections spiel? Well, turns out there's a darker side to the industry that they conveniently leave out of the brochures. Behind all the glitz and glamour, there's a seedy underbelly filled with all sorts of shady stuff. Drugs, sex, greed, you name it. Rumor has it, people are willing to do just about anything to climb that Hollywood ladder. They're selling their souls, quite literally, just to get a foot in the door. And get this, there's even whispers of this secret group pulling the strings behind the scenes, controlling who makes it and who doesn't. Now, I know it sounds like something straight out of a conspiracy theory, but that's why we've got insiders like Katt Williams and Joe Rogan seemingly stepping up to spill the tea. Katt's been on fire lately, airing out everybody's dirty laundry like there's no tomorrow. He's not backing down from anyone, not even the big shots who think they're untouchable. And word on the street is, he's teaming up with Joe Rogan to drop some major bombshells about this secret Hollywood clique. I know it's a lot to take in, but buckle up, guys, because we're about to dive in. All right, so Katt Williams swings by Joe Rogan's podcast for a marathon chat session that goes on for a solid 3 hours. And let me tell you, they didn't hold back. They covered everything from life's deepest mysteries to the infamous Illuminati. Now, Katt drops some serious truth bombs, suggesting that the allure of the Illuminati is like a siren's call for those hungry for power and riches. It's like a VIP club for the elite, offering all sorts of juicy perks that make it hard for folks to resist.
Because it's a very powerful concept to have and far too lucrative and beneficial to not be attempted.
Joe Rogan jumps in, totally vibing with Katt's take. He's all about exploring the idea of global power organizations, imagining how they could lure in world leaders with fancy toys like private jets and high-level discussions about climate change. Can you blame them for being tempted? But here's where it gets real interesting. Katt brings up a solid point about these organizations having their own set of rules. It's like a secret club with a strict membership policy. And as time goes on, it gets harder and harder for newbies to break in. That's where shady characters like Epstein and Weinstein come into play. They knew what these big shots wanted and served it up on a silver platter, essentially becoming the go-to suppliers for their darkest desires.
Epstein, Weinstein, like these guys knew what these extremists liked and provided it.
Joe Rogan added fuel to the fire, speculating about what goes down at these exclusive parties hosted by these powerful figures. He mentioned how attendees probably have their devices scanned and locked away, and how there's probably some seriously shady stuff happening behind closed doors. Katt agreed, pointing out that characters like Epstein have existed throughout history, catering to the darkest desires of the powerful elite.
There's some going on behind the scenes to anybody that really wants to control everything. You don't just want to control everything. You want to control everything so you can get away with some too.
Now, as we all know, Epstein and Weinstein are not exactly the poster boys for good behavior. But before we dive into their messy stories, let's break down this whole Illuminati thing first. Now, you've probably heard whispers about the Illuminati lurking behind the scenes of Hollywood, right? The big question everyone's asking is if you need to be part of this secret society to make it big in the industry. So, what exactly is the Illuminati? Well, it's this mysterious group that's been the talk of conspiracy theories for ages. Picture powerful folks pulling strings from the shadows, shaping world events like some kind of behind-the-scenes puppet master. It all traces back to the 18th century in Bavaria, where this guy named Adam Weishaupt kicked off a secret club called the Bavarian Illuminati. They were all about spreading Enlightenment ideas and giving a big ol' middle finger to religious meddling in politics. But fast forward to today, and the Illuminati has taken on a whole new vibe. It's like this ominous concept that people love to speculate about, connecting it to everything from politics to pop culture. It's basically the boogeyman of conspiracy theories, lurking in the shadows of society. Now let's talk conspiracy theories, specifically the one about the Illuminati infiltrating the entertainment business. You've probably heard the whispers about how this shadowy group pulls the strings behind the scenes, shaping the careers of celebs and controlling their destinies. These theories suggest that Illuminati members engage in all sorts of shady stuff, from secret rituals to making Faustian deals for fame and fortune. And according to the rumors, some big names in Hollywood are allegedly part of the club. Starting with with Kanye West. He has been dragged into the whole Illuminati chatter among celebrities several times. But unlike some celebs who stay mum about these conspiracy theories, Kanye's been quite vocal about it. He straight up called out these powerful entities multiple times, saying they've got a grip on certain celebs. But here's where it gets interesting. Kanye's not afraid to speak his truth, even if it lands him in hot water. He's thrown caution to the wind, claiming he's untouchable and can say whatever he wants without facing repercussions. And let's be real, the dude said and done some pretty eyebrow-raising stuff over the years. I can say whatever I want and not go to jail, Ye tells the camera. They can't control me, you get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq, they can control Charles Barkley, they can control LeBron James, they can control Jay-Z and Beyonce, but they can't control me. You see, it ain't no name I won't name. It's up. Ye then brought up his deceased mother, claiming she was sacrificed before adding, I'm the P that never K nobody. But that means I can say whatever I want. My mama ain't here, my mama was sacrificed. You can't send none of y'all Meek Mills, y'all Puffies, y'all Lil Boozies, none of these names, none of these people that have to listen to y'all. I never K nobody. I'm the P that never K nobody. But that means I can say whatever I want. He then goes on to mention Michael Jordan's father, insinuating that the basketball legend's dad was similarly sacrificed.
They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
But not you, man.
But they can't control me.
Not
You see, it
you.
ain't no name I won't name.
Exactly.
It's up. None of y'all Meek Mills, y'all Puffies, y'all Lil Boozy, none of these names. None of these people that have to listen to y'all because they're dealing, they have legal, I never nobody.
Some folks reckon Kanye's unapologetic attitude stems from his refusal to be controlled. He's not about to let anyone silence him or dictate his moves. But here's the kicker. His boldness has come at a cost. It all kicked off when Kanye made major headlines at his Yeezy Paris Fashion Week show. He rocked a shirt with White Lives Matter on it and had black models wearing it. It's a phrase associated with neo-Nazis and white supremacists, a direct response to the Black Lives Matter movement. People were not having it, and Kanye faced a ton of backlash from fans and celebs alike online. But wait, it gets worse. Kanye didn't back down. He went on Instagram, then hit up Twitter with some seriously anti-Semitic language in his posts. And just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, he kept on spouting off hate speech in interviews. The public wasn't having any of it. Companies like The Gap and Balenciaga straight up cut ties with him, and Adidas dropped their deal with him after he lost his billionaire status. Yep, you read that right. Kanye's net worth took a hit, now sitting at $400 million instead of being a billionaire. And to top it off, Forbes even kicked him off their billionaires list. Since then, Adidas has opened an internal investigation after several former employees accused West of inappropriate workplace conduct during meetings with Adidas employees. People in his orbit, from former girlfriend Julia Fox to collaborator Pusha T, have also distanced themselves from him. Furthermore, Ye's November 22nd dinner with Donald Trump and white nationalist Nick Fuentes was widely denounced, even by Trump's former vice president Mike Pence. After Ye posted comments on Instagram that were considered by many to be anti-Jewish, the social media platform restricted the rapper's account due to a violation of the company's rules and guidelines. That led Ye to end his 2-year hiatus from Twitter to not only air his grievances with Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg over the suspension, but to also continue making anti-Semitic remarks. We also have the power couple, Jay-Z and Beyonce. They have also faced their fair share of Illuminati accusations, mainly because of their massive success and the occasional use of Illuminati imagery in their music videos. But they've always denied any involvement. But why do people buy into these theories? Well, let's dive into one of the juiciest rumors, the mystery surrounding Aaliyah's death. Some folks believe Jay-Z sacrificed her so Beyonce could step into the spotlight. Now, there's this comparison game titled Aaliyah versus Beyonce. Look at the names, Aaliyah meaning the highest, most exalted one versus Beyonce, meaning one who is beyond others. It's like two queens vying for the throne, right? They were once friends, but here's where the Illuminati conspiracy kicks in. Aaliyah, the seasoned quadruple threat, paved the way for Beyonce's stardom before tragically passing away. Aaliyah had dreams, modeling, singing, dancing, acting, even eyeing roles in The Matrix and Sparkle. Fast forward, and Beyonce seems to be following Aaliyah's footsteps. In an interview, Aaliyah shared her dream to visit Egypt, Cleopatra's land. She expressed her fascination with Egyptian culture and dreams of making a movie there. Now, did Beyonce play Cleopatra in Dreamgirls? Yep, Aaliyah also spoke about designing clothes and accessories. And lo and behold, Beyonce's into the fashion game. time. So, Aaliyah was gaining fans worldwide, but the Illuminati reportedly saw her as a green light and wanted her to join their ranks. However, she resisted, and as history suggests with figures like Michael Jackson and DMX, refusing the Illuminati can lead to a tarnished image and, ultimately, demise. Aaliyah was associated with Freemason members, including Jay-Z and Damon Dash, whom she was engaged to. Aaliyah began learning more about the Illuminati and Freemasons through her associations, realizing her life might be in danger. She even mentioned a dream in an interview weeks before her death, describing a dark dream where someone was after her, and suddenly she lifted off, feeling free and weightless. Some speculate this could symbolize death. In the weeks leading to her tragic plane crash, Aaliyah recorded an unfinished song called Time. The lyrics express a sentiment of not having enough time to do everything. Interestingly, Jay-Z released a remix of Aaliyah's I Miss You after her death, mentioning that she used to read Seed of the Soul, a book about opening one's third eye. Adding to the intrigue, right after shooting the More Than a Woman video, Aaliyah received a call to fly immediately to the Bahamas for the Rock the Boat video. The situation seemed oddly aligned with the theme of her unfinished song, Time, suggesting a mysterious connection. According to some theories, Aaliyah might have resisted joining the Illuminati or wanted out of it, leading to her being replaced by someone who would adhere to their agenda, Beyoncé. This theory suggests that Aaliyah's unwillingness to comply or her desire to exit the Illuminati program could have led to her demise. The narrative draws parallels between the names Aaliyah, highest most exalted one, and Beyoncé, one who is beyond others, and implies that Jay-Z played a role in this alleged conspiracy. It's insane to even think, right? And then there's how black comedians in Hollywood end up rocking dresses. Some folks believe there's more to it than just slipping into a costume. They think it's some kind of Illuminati initiation ritual, like you gotta rock a dress before you can hit the big leagues. Dave Chappelle would share his story on how he was approached to wear a dress. He would break his silence back in 2006 while speaking with OPR. So, he walks into the trailer and sees a dress, thinking it's the wrong one. Turns out it's for a scene where Martin's character sneaks out of jail by dressing Chappelle as a Chappelle's like, nah, I'm not doing that. It wasn't in the discussion. They try to pressure him, saying it's a hilarious bit, but he stands his ground, saying he doesn't need a dress to be funny. The whole thing gets intense with writers, directors, and producers pushing, but Chappelle sticks to his guns. In the end, they come up with a new scene without the dress, and he's left wondering, how did you write that so fast?
Writer's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail, so he disguises you as a dude. And he put this dress on.
Dave just didn't vibe with it, not because wearing a dress is an issue on its own, but because he felt the industry was trying to corner black artists into doing whatever it took for success. They kept hounding him until they figured out he wouldn't budge. Dave revealed this whole experience was an eye-opener. It took being told to wear a dress for him to connect the dots and realize this wasn't just his struggle. Lots of other black men had been asked to do the same. Martin Lawrence rocked it in Big Mama's House. Eddie Murphy pulled it off in the Nutty Professor series, and Jamie Foxx left a mark with his unforgettable Ugly Wanda on In Living Color. Then you've got the Wayans brothers trying their hand at it with White Chicks. Oh, and we can't forget the less successful Juwanna Man. In the mix of all this, Tyler Perry takes the cake with his Medea franchise. Also, when asked about Dave Chappelle's claim that black men were being pushed to humiliate themselves for money, Kevin Hart was all about protecting his brand and not crossing any boundaries in 2012. He proudly declared he'd never do something he didn't want to do just for money. Fast forward a year, and boom, Kevin pops up on an SNL skit rocking a dress. Now, maybe it wasn't a big deal for Kevin, but it's a bit odd, right? After all, he did make a public statement about not crossing his boundaries, and then there he is on live TV in a dress. Also, Brandon Jackson is another person who opened up about how wearing a dress in a movie actually messed with his life. In a candid interview with Comedy Hype, Brandon C. Jackson openly shared his regret about wearing a dress alongside Martin Lawrence in Big Mama's House. Reflecting on that time, he admitted, "Everything went wrong when I put on that dress." According to Jackson, the pre-Big Mama's era marked a turning point in his career, and while it brought positive aspects like increased visibility, it also had negative consequences for his personal life.
Everything went wrong, just like everything went right. Everything went wrong when I put on that dress.
What didn't go right with Big Mama's?
It was, first of all, no offense, that movie wasn't that good to me. wasn't a prolific film.
When asked about the changing point, Jackson clarified that it was a negative shift. Sure, his face was plastered on buses, but behind the scenes, his personal life was a mess. According to him, it was a pretty horrible time. The interviewer pressed him to spill more details, and Jackson got real about not being able to share his story eloquently back then. It's like being a baby who can't communicate yet. He wasn't the seasoned stand-up he is now. Looking back, he revealed that during the Big Mama's house period, he met his daughter's mother, and from that point, his personal life became challenging. Although his career was at its peak, it was a tumultuous time for him personally. Jackson likened it to a passing of the torch, playing Martin Lawrence's son, and noted that playing such roles seemed to bring unexpected challenges. When asked what went wrong with Big Mama's house, Jackson didn't sugarcoat it. He expressed that, in his opinion, the movie wasn't that good and wasn't a prolific film. While acknowledging the entertainment factor, he pointed out that the concept of a man in a dress had been overdone, citing Miss Doubtfire as a precedent. Jackson admitted he took on the role primarily for the money and the opportunity to work with Martin Lawrence. It was entertaining, but not exactly an Oscar-worthy masterpiece. Continuing the conversation, Brandon C. Jackson emphasized that his decision to wear the dress in Big Mama's house was motivated by more than just money. He was eager to make a big move in his career. The interviewer then shifted the focus to Brandon's current perspective, noting that he seems more awakened compared to when he first entered the industry. Bringing up the dress again, the interviewer asked if Brandon faced criticism at that moment. Brandon clarified that he didn't receive backlash from people except for Katt Williams, who consistently advised him against wearing a dress. Initially, Brandon thought Williams was just heckling him, but later realized that Williams was genuinely trying to help him. Brandon admitted his own immaturity at the time, feeling defensive about pursuing his career while facing criticism. Williams, it turned out, was attempting to warn him about the potential pitfalls of getting into a dress. The interviewer then asked if, given his current awakened mindset, there's any amount of money that could convince him to wear a dress. Brandon firmly stated that no amount of money could sway him. Further questioning revolved around how the introduction of the dress played out in his career. Brandon explained that after a scene in Lottery Ticket where he didn't wear a dress, the industry started pushing the idea onto him. He drew parallels to Tupac's experience, suggesting that when someone is perceived as too real, the industry attempts to control that authenticity by putting them in a dress. Now let's quickly touch on what Katt was mentioning about Epstein and Weinstein and the shady stuff they've allegedly pulled for those powerful folks. In October 2017, the New York Times and the New Yorker reported that more than a dozen women accused Weinstein of sex harassing, A-ing, or R-wording them. Many other women in the film industry subsequently reported similar experiences with Weinstein, who denied any non-consensual sex. As a result of these allegations, Weinstein was dismissed from his production company, suspended from the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, and expelled from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. He also resigned from the Directors Guild of America and was denounced by leading figures in politics whom he had supported. The Los Angeles Police Department opened a criminal investigation for alleged R, and New York and London police began investigating other SA allegations. On October 10, 2017, Weinstein's wife, Georgina Chapman, announced that she was leaving him. Their divorce was finalized in July 2021. Those bombshell SA claims against Weinstein didn't just fade away. Nope, they kicked off this whole national reckoning in the US, a tidal wave against harassment and A that got dubbed the Weinstein effect. Combine that with some other harassment cases earlier in the year, and you've got a full-blown storm. Thanks to the Weinstein reports and the hashtag #MeToo movement exploding on social media, people started coming forward left and right, sharing their own stories of misconduct that had been tucked away. It wasn't just Hollywood feeling the heat. This avalanche of allegations reached across various industries. The result? Swift exits for many powerful dudes. Not just in the US, but this thing spread like wildfire around the globe. The world suddenly felt like it was flipping the script on those who'd been abusing their power. In 2019, the documentary Untouchable was released with interviews from several of his accusers. The New York County District Attorney's Office charged Weinstein with R, criminal SA, and SEX misconduct for incidents involving two separate women on May 25, 2018. He was arrested the same day after surrendering to the New York City Police Department, NYPD, and released after a $1 million bail was posted on his behalf. He surrendered his passport and was required to wear an ankle monitor, with travel being restricted to New York in Connecticut. His lawyer, Benjamin Brafman, said Weinstein would plead not guilty. A trial date was set for January 6, 2020. On that date, Weinstein was also charged in Los Angeles with R wording one woman and S-ing another in 2013. On June 8, 2022, Weinstein was formally charged by the Metropolitan Police with 2 counts of indecent A against a woman in London between July 31st and August 31st, 1996. After deliberating for 5 days, a jury convicted Weinstein on February 24, 2020, of 2 of 5 criminal charges, 1 count of criminal SA in the first degree and 1 count of R in the third degree. The jury found him not guilty regarding SA, which could have led to a life sentence. He was remanded to jail at Rikers Island in New York City pending his sentencing hearing on March 11th, when he was sentenced to 23 years in prison. He was then transferred to Wendy Correctional Facility in Erie County, New York. He stated through his attorneys that he would appeal the verdict. Weinstein was stripped of his honorary CBE, Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, on September 18, 2020. On June 2, 2022, the New York State Supreme Court Appellate Division, First Department upheld the verdicts and judgment on appeal. For the court's decision, Judge Angela Mazzarelli wrote, "We perceive no basis for reducing the sentence, and we have considered defendants' remaining arguments and find them unavailing." On August 25, 2022, he was granted a further appeal before the New York Court of Appeals. On July 20, 2021, Weinstein was flown to Los Angeles and taken to the Twin Towers Correctional Facility. The trial in Los Angeles commenced in October 2022. Weinstein was charged with 11 counts of R, forcible oral copulation, and SEX battery, stemming from alleged acts between 2004 and 2013. He was found guilty of 3 of 7 charges. 4 of the initial 11 charges were dropped. On December 19, 2022, convictions included charges of R, forced oral copulation, and third-degree SEX misconduct. On February 23, 2023, Weinstein was sentenced to 16 years in prison for these convictions. His sentence in California prisons must be served separately from, consecutively to rather than concurrently to, his time served in New York. As for Epstein, he cultivated an elite social circle and procured many women and children whom he and his associates S.A.'d. In 2005, police in Palm Beach, Florida, began investigating Epstein after a parent reported that he had S.A.'d her 14-year-old daughter. Federal officials identified 36 girls, some as young as 14 years old, whom Epstein had allegedly S.A.'d. Epstein pleaded guilty and was convicted in 2008 by a Florida state court of procuring a child for P-word and of soliciting a He was convicted of only these 2 crimes as part of a controversial plea deal and served almost 13 months in custody, but with extensive work release. Epstein was arrested again on July 6, 2019, on federal charges for the SEX-TFK of minors in Florida and New York. He died in his jail cell on August 10, 2019. The medical examiner ruled that his death was a S by hanging. Isn't this whole situation just mind-blowing? But we want to know what you think. Do you buy into the idea of powerful figures secretly calling the shots? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll catch you in the next video.